Welcome to my video. Today we're going to be looking at fixing and repairing this wonderful box that I was given by a friend of mine. I have a slight obsession with wooden boxes, and when he gave me this box, I was intrigued because it really had this wonderful detail that I hadn't seen before. And so I set out to try and discover what this actually was. It had a key, and when it was opened, you could see that it had two compartments, and they were what seemed to be broken. They didn't really fit very well in the box. So I assumed that what had happened was that the box itself actually needed a bit of repair and a bit of love and attention, but I wasn't quite sure what I was looking at. I kind of figured out that that piece fit there. There's a locking mechanism to close it, so it needed to be some kind of perhaps a hinge of sorts or some, it was locking that compartment. Um, I was really at a loss as to, what this actually was, what this box actually was. So I needed to find out. There appeared to be some repairs that were done on the box before, but it looked really old. This brass hinge appeared to be something that was added to it, but it had rusted through, so that needed some repair. The locking mechanism seemed to work fine. I had the key for the box itself, so it seemed to be fine. But there were these small compartments and a place for what I assume would be pens, perhaps. So it opened up like that and rested on a ridge there, so that it seemed to be a small compartment. But I was kind of a little stumped as to what this box really was. The veneer on the box was really, really pretty, and it literally just needed a bit of repair. But I think what ended up happening was that the lid for this compartment got stuck. So I needed to, one, sort of take some stock of what repairs needed to be done, and two, to really kind of figure out how to get that lid unstuck and out of that compartment. So I was really excited to start with this project. Again, I have a real obsession with wooden boxes. I really don't know why, but it I really do have an obsession. So I did some Google image searches, and lo and behold, what I found was that these boxes are writing slopes. You can see there's a sort of leather part to it that is the place where you write, and then you can put all your letters inside the compartments. And so I went onto YouTube and I started to look for repairing videos, how to repair writing slope videos. And this one from Furniture Medic, it was incredibly informative. I found this very, very useful, and he did such a great job, and I hoped to do as good a job as he did. So I took what I learned from his video, and I started to attempt to get this compartment lid out. My goodness, it was something else. I tried one tool after another after another. It was truly, truly stuck. Truly stuck. I ended up having to chip away a few little pieces here and there to try and actually get the lid to move a little bit. I ended up making a hole in the lid itself. My goodness, it was a real mission. It took me about 2 hours of just prying, and there's a motorbike outside. Damn it. Um, yeah, just trying to get this lid out, man. It was tough. There you can see I'm trying to use tweezers, trying to get those forceps up and under, and that didn't work. A knife, will that work? It did not. I tried everything. I went into all of the drawers. I went into all of my toolboxes. It was tough to try and get this out. There you can see I'm making a nice hole. I needed to get underneath it to pry it upwards. So I made a small hole and I tried using forceps and it worked. It did scrape a lot of the box itself, but it worked. It finally came out. I very gingerly put it back just because I was hoping it wouldn't fall back in. All right, so now we're going to get the hinge off. And what I'll do is leave you with some music and a good visual of my baby girl there. That is Lilu, or Lala, as she's now known. She was my firstborn of sorts. She was my first cat. And then the cat distribution system decided that I needed more, and I now have 4. So there was Lilu, and she is very much a tortie with a tortitude. So I'll leave you with some visuals of the unscrewing process, the removal of this hinge. Right, so now we've got the brasso, and we're going to just make sure that those brass inlays are nice and shiny. I put some painting tape around the different brass elements just to make sure that I wasn't going to affect the veneer on the box itself. So brasso works incredibly well for the different brass inlays. And once those were nice and shiny, it was time to put the hinges back onto the box. I opted for actually getting hinges that were very similar to the original, so two little hinges on either side, and just making sure that I've got the hinges nice and lined up, and making sure that when I drilled the holes, it wasn't actually going to be in the wrong place and end up with the writing box in the wrong place, or at least misaligned. So here I'm just using my drill and inserting the hinges onto the sides. I've chosen to use a fake sort of PVC leather in red. I couldn't actually get any real leather for this particular box, but it's got a plastic element to it, and I thought it would stick really well. And if it gets any dents or anything, it would handle it really well. So I'm just using craft glue here and sticking it onto the two lids. And here you can see I'm just lining it up, making sure I've got enough glue that it's just going to stick evenly, that there won't be any sort of bubbles, and just making sure that the glue itself is spread nice and thin, which takes a while. It's really pretty though. It's kind of sort of an artwork in itself. So I had this idea. The red pleather would be outlined by a gold outline. And what I thought was to do a sort of piping. What you would normally do with clothing when you're doing sewing is to actually have a string that is surrounded by a ribbon, and then it makes a really nice ridge almost, and a gold. I don't even know what to call it. I forget what it's called. But what I decided to do was use hot glue and just get some nylon string and hot glue it inside a gold ribbon, so satin ribbon. And I'm just using this metal ruler just to press down and cool down that glue, and it made it stuck really well. I was fairly impressed by the fact that it actually stuck that well. And so I took a few minutes, and it took about half an hour to get the full length of 2 meters worth of ribbon to have this piping effect glued together. It came out really well. I was really impressed with it. So my thought was then to use hot glue to put the piping into underneath the edge of that pleather. And I should have known all those 5-minute craft videos that use hot glue and they never come out as you expect them to. Should have known. I swear I should have known. But yeah, I tried to hot glue that piping underneath, and it worked fairly well. I wasn't terribly unhappy with it. It did get a little bit bumpy just because the hot glue doesn't come out in an even stream. So I could see the vision. I could see it working, and it almost worked. But I should have known. These bloody 5-minute craft videos. I should have known. Well, you know, you only learn by doing, I suppose. That's just how life is. Oh boy, what did I do with that heat gun? As I said, the pleather is plastic. It's literally plastic, and so me trying to remove the um remove the glue. Don't do more. No, don't do more. Ah, damn it. It's completely melting the plastic. It's making it wrinkly. It was awful. And try to save it by sort of patting it and pressing it down and heating it up. But why? Don't do more. Oh my gosh. Past self, why would you do something like this? Honestly. And here you can see I am contemplating life. Ah, yeah, man, I'm staring at it and I'm realizing I've taken an antique, I've taken something that was from the Victorian or the Edwardian time, and I have royally, properly screwed it up. I'm trying to figure out whether I'm gonna be okay, kind of happy with it. Um, yeah, and even the piping is actually making the hinges not work well. They don't sit flush, so I'm contemplating, thinking, yeah, hmm, deciding, no, yes, possibly, yeah, no, it's not the thing. It definitely is not the thing. Yeah. Yeah, I hate it. I hate it so much. I really, I just, no. It's just, that's a no. It's a no for me, dog. Right, round two. Luckily, I buy more material than I often need, and I'm going to try a different glue this time, a contact adhesive instead of the craft glue. I think perhaps it will stick better and actually last longer. So I will actually end up with a better result, in fact. This is my first time using the contact adhesive. I had seen it in the hardware store and I'd seen it on being used on some YouTube videos. And as far as I'm aware, it's a very, very strong adhesive, very strong glue that will dry really quickly. And by this point, I was just so kind of the word in South Africa is gatvol. Whoa, and then I get a little bit skew there. And it's almost stuck already. Crap, crap, crap. Luckily, I managed to pull it off, but man, it was a touch and go there for a second. After everything that had happened on this project so far, man, I was stressing a little bit there, but got it off. Now I'm gonna put it on in a better way. The other thing that I did differently was to leave a little bit of space around the edges so that even if I did glue it on slightly skew, I would then be able to just cut the edges flush with those outlines. So using the contact adhesive, it really stuck it very well and made it nice and flat. I also then ensured that the pleather went all the way up to the edges and was flush with the edge of those outlines, by making sure that there's a little bit of a seam, if you will, or sort of an overhang that I could then just cut off. So after all of these fixes and the ups and downs that were part of this project, I think I'll leave it at this point before I do anything else to it. So I thought I'd start and try my hand at some calligraphy, trying to use this writing slope as it was intended to be used. Thanks so much for watching the roller coaster that was fixing that writing slope. I'll see you in the next one.